What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerd On Update, our weekly show in which we talk about the nerdy news, the things that pisses us off or excites us, or something like AI and dubbing, and like Tom is doing right now. Yeah, that's that. And then the later part of the show in which we answer questions from you. Yes, you. The people. You. Yeah, I'm looking at you. We answer questions from you. But before that, we just sit here and talk. That's like the
just chat.
That's like actually like the actual first part of the show. We used to call it the pre-show, but it's like, and then we were like, let's just be a part of the show. It'll just be a part of the show. It's just people do that, right? Kevin Smith does that. He validates us. Yeah, I'm validated.
Just hang out,
Yeah.
talk, chit chat. You know, it gets to the point where like, you know, we sometimes don't talk about like to each other and about each other in so long because we're just doing show after show after show, life, family, friend. You know, it's like it just, you know, so it like, you know, there's a good chance for us to like catch up, just like, hey, so what's going on? Then, you know, everyone could chime in, talk about how their lives are. I see T-Dog, Mamba, up in the chat. You know, tell us about your weekends, what you're excited about this week.
Yes.
I mean, we could chit chat about a little some because both of us had some cool highlights this weekend.
We did. That's right.
Yeah, I'll go and spoil it, but then I won't, you know, obviously share your experience because I have no idea what that was like. But we both were able to screen films that we participated in live action or behind the scenes. Josh was able to go. This is a world premiere, right? World premiere of a feature film that he starred in and also worked on. And then I got to screen, not like a premiere. Like premiere is a lot more big and ceremonial. Like mine was just a screening for the cast and crew. So, you know, you normally do like a screening for the cast and crew before you go out anywhere in the world. But so Josh's film Tenants is a lot more further down the line than mine, but had a big, bad, awesome screen premiere in a big old theater. Josh, tell the people what it's like.
It was really cool. It was my first feature as an actor. So, because I've worked on, if you go into my IMDb, you can see that I've worked on a few features of doing like the sound design and the mixing for. And as an actor, I've never gotten the chance to do that. And my buddy Buzz, who I've talked about on this show, asked me to cut off my blue hair and be in his movie, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. It's a horror anthology film, so it's really cool. The whole film has kind of a through line, but there's a bunch of different stories taking place, and it's really cool. And it was an interesting experience because like it was an actual red carpet. Like I didn't know what to do. Like there was
step and repeat and all that stuff.
it was like there was the thing behind us. Like I found my image on Getty Images, which was weird. I was like,
That's cool.
What the weird? But yeah, it was very cool. And then
Did they spell your name right on Getty Images?
I think I didn't actually check my name. I was just like, ooh, look at that. That's me. And then, yeah, I had some friends came out and saw it, and it's this experience when you're showing something that you have been a part of the process in making or whatever, and then you're getting that first initial like audience reaction, and it's nerve-wracking in that sense, but it's also like, are they gonna get it? Is that as scary as I think it is? Is it like is that moment that, like, for me it was like acting, like for the acting, was my character likable so that what happens to him affects the audience more, like that, or from an acting standpoint? And then from a sound design standpoint, I'm like, did that translate? Did that play? Was it as scary as we thought it was when we were doing the thing? And I had a friend that jokes on them. Unfortunately, I forgot to tell them that it was a horror movie, and they were sitting next to me, and they were like, oh my, and it was like, okay, cool, validation, like, okay, this is great. But it was like seeing a movie that I was in on the big screen, something that I mixed, and seeing a poster of a movie that I was in on a marquee. Like Regal has always been my theater, like just theater company. Like back when I was a kid, I've had like a Regal Rewards program. Like it has hundreds of thousands of points because I've had it for decades now. But to have it on a Regal marquee was just, I mean, it's I don't know. There's nothing, you can't, that magic of hearing something or seeing something that you did out in the world, like you can't take that away from an artist. Like that is just, it's magical. It doesn't matter how good it is or not. It's like you just see it and you're like, wow, I was a part of that. That's really cool.
Have you seen Babylon? I forget.
Yes, but it's been a while.
Everyone talks shit about that movie, but I'm like, the ending hit hard for me, and everyone's like, that's a fucking mess. I'm like, I don't know, man. It kind of sold the thesis of the movie of like, the film industry is a fucking monster and it eats you up and spits you out, but also like, God bless, you get to be part of something that will like outlive you for decades and almost century later, and that character experiences that. So it's like that one of those things where you sit in a theater and you're like, holy shit, this now belongs into the tapestry of time.
Yeah.
Mine went utterly bananas. That's the nice way I'm saying it, because my God, we had it at this location venue, and it was like at a theater, and it was like kind of like this lounge lobby hotel-y apartment-y complex thing. It was like really bougie and shit. And then like we didn't get the lobby like we were supposed to, so like we had to like I made it. That's the number one thing. Like Josh knows, I constantly say I'm not an actor, so don't put me in front of the camera. Don't put me in a cameo for no fucking reason. There are plenty of actors who would love to be on in front of the camera and would do a better job than I would do it anyways. But a big strength, quality, almost prerequisite, I think, of anything creative is figuring out how to roll with the punches and improvising and pivoting. And my God, it was just like on landing, pivot. It's like, hey, no parking signs. Hey, can't park there anymore. New parking enforcement. Hey, this room's not yours anymore. Hey, you can't set up that thing. Hey, this room's not open until that point. It's like, dude, how many fucking changes am I going to have to do and then inform like 30 to 50 people this shit in like 30 minutes? And it's like, it was like, I was like, holy shit. And then the best part, after stalling and throwing a joke here and there and working the crowd, it's time to play. and then fucking technical difficulties. The fucking audio is not syncing. Mine is the first one to play out of this double feature, and I'm just like, oh my! It's getting to the point where it's just like, I don't even give a shit if people hate this. It just has to fucking play properly. And we're figuring it out. Shout out to fucking storyboard crew, fucking Corey, Neil, and Mikey. Like A-teamed it and was just like, get on that thing. We're hijacking the projector. I was like, holy shit. And then they fucking just like plugged in the computer and like it played and it went great. And then like it's so fun. Fucking 40-minute like debacle of playing it, it's not synced. Playing it, it's not synced. Playing it, it's not synced. And everyone might be wondering and listening because people ask that, did you sync it before? No fucking shit, I synced it before. No shit.
There are things that you go, you fucking asshole.
That's like, who are you talking to right now? Like who
no,
like,
I've never made a film.
I set this shit up. You don't think I would have checked that shit? You don't think I stayed up way late every night till like 4 a.m. being like, I have to watch the 10th cut, the 11th cut, of the 12th cut. Oh, I just got the final fucking VFX. Slot that bitch in. Now it's the 12th. You know, it's like I've seen this shit so fucking much that I'm just like, I have seen the 30-minute block because it's like with mine 10 and a half and the other one's like 15 and a half. Like I kind of gave it some space, so it's like 24 minutes. I was like, I've seen this fucking 24-minute block like fucking so many times. I'm like, I know exactly how it plays. I know every single line. I know exactly how it sounds. I know if anything's fucking off. I fucking airplayed it to my big screen TV, so I'm like, I know how this looks. I know exactly how it plays.
I know how it sounds. And
it's like, and then it's like, and we tested another movie, not this one, but a movie in this theater before. So I know this works. Why is it working now? I don't fucking know. And so I'm like, we gotta try everything. We gotta try everything. And everyone's like, did you put it online? Is there blah blah? I was like, no. There was no thought because we never play things from online onto this. And it's like, it's always hard on a thing and then you play. And so it was just like insane. At a certain point, I just like I was not in best form after that moment. After the third time, it just got to the point where like, I was just like, I have to just roll into a ball and be like, fucking work, just work. And everyone, it's
all
like,
I want is for this to work once.
It's kind of nice. It's kind of like a good chat, or like when you get mutual friends to meet each other and you don't really have to host them anymore. They're all just kind of self-stabilizing, and it's like a fusion reaction. It's like, it's stabilizing. And
for my birthday party, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having so many different elements of my life coming together, and I'm like, kind of like, I'm the only like constant, and you're like, okay, just like, it's working.
And yeah, that's how it felt. And then, definitely people came through and was like, hey, how do I help out? I was like, okay, it's like love, all love, right?
Love
but then it fucking played, and then, people clapped, people, cheered, and then the second one played, people laughed, people cheered, and they clapped for that one. And then at the end, everyone's saying their goodbyes, and everyone came and stopped by and shook my hand and gave me hugs, and they were like, it's really, really good, and blah blah blah. And friends, fucking, I unfortunately, when you have so much imposter syndrome or self-criticism, perfectionism, all that bullshit, you kind of just don't believe good faith. You have to hear like, this motherfucker hates me. I have to hear what they, but there were some cool people that were invited as +1s who like absolutely are not part of the industry at all and are just like general moviegoers. So I'm like, I need to hear from you. And then I didn't, approach them or anything like that, but they would come and approach me. It's like, oh, this is really cool. Well, it's like, this is really good, I think. And then it's like, it really harkens this. And they got the message immediately. I was like, okay, it fucking came through. I was like, oh my God. And I'm like,
worked.
Because Josh knows. And I mean, people who in the chat might have watched, Thief of Joy, even though most of my stuff takes place in real world and real rules, sometimes it gets a little on the artistic, surreal, expressionist, like higher level of like
you try
dialogue,
to have messages.
Yeah, and then it's always more subject to criticism. Like it's hard to just, you know, maybe you should just do a straightforward story and it's just like, cool, things happen and that's the end.
What's the fun in that, Tom?
I mean, for me, it's a challenge, but also like I like layering pieces of dialogue where it's like you're in these people's heads, but it's kind of like, you know, if I'm playing fucking Magic with you, right, and I do all this shit to make my shit like really scary and shit, and I ask you a question, what you gonna do about that? It's very different than you and me walking into a room and it's messy, and I say, what you gonna do about that? Like, you know, the same words in different contexts should have different meanings and different histories behind it. Like, it's the exact same words, but in those different situations, they have, you know, a whole history and a context between those characters. And I try to like make shit like that. And I'm like, yeah, like, you know, like, hey, when this happens, you know, every day, then it starts to feel like it, you know, it's never going to end. You know, it's like, oh shit, like, what is he talking about? Is he talking about the bad diarrhea from eating guacamole, or is he talking about, you know, like fucking, I don't know, like, so that's like why I just like, I'm like, oh my god, like I hope, you know, this isn't too heady for people. But everyone got it, everyone picked it up, and everyone was like, yo, you showed a lot of this history and in a brief amount of time. I was like, fucking it, because, you know, Thief of Joy, I love that one, but that was 100% me indulging, being like, let's take our time. Let's just live in the moment, right? I was just like,
can you make it more awkward? Yes, let's do it.
well, it's like let's just like thicken like the anxious, the intensity of like just like this is like a hard conversation to watch.
I mean, Tenet's one of the main reasons why I got that film, because yeah, it was Buzz. He was the main producer, but the director of the segment that I'm in still needed to approve it. He's like, hey, you would check out Josh. And he knew me from one of Buzz's shorts, but Tenets was also something that he was sent to see and he was like, oh yeah, no, yeah, totally. Let's have Josh. So it's like, yeah, Thief of Joy. It's, no, it's very interesting to finally get that audience perspective. And like what you were saying, like I had friends come. And, you know, I love having friends come up to me and be like, oh, it was so good. It's like I love external validation every now and then. As human beings, we need it. But, like, getting a stranger, when a stranger comes up and goes, oh, man, your character, like, that was like, it was like, okay, you don't know me. You don't have to say nice things to me. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've done it. I did good work.
And say, I got one. That's all I fucking, who gives a shit? Who gives a fucking shit at that point? It's like, cool, I got one.
My like 6 friends that came were like, oh my gosh, that was so good. It's like, thank you. And then this random guy that I've never met in my life is like, your character was so good. And it's like,
it's such bullshit. It's such bullshit. It is. Like, I think both of us could agree we would love it, if not more, that the support and love and encouragement and validation from friends, I wish it fucking like held as much weight as a complete stranger being like, I don't know you, but I think this shit's good. It's like, oh shit.
It's like, it's like getting feedback from a person that you love or that you really care about, and they're trying to tell you something, and it's like a life lesson that you need to learn, but you're not getting it. And then some fucking random stranger tells you the same thing, and you're like, yeah, that's right. But there's been so many times Bonnie's been like, that's what I told you that you anyway.
Motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
We could do a whole podcast about that. But we should get into some of the news tonight.
I'll start.
You'll start. Hold on. Before we start, though, we got a clappity clap.
Oh yeah, that's right. Clap for fun. This is B-Rad.
This is T-Dog. This is Mamba.
There it is. This
is 51 Jonathan.
Johnny Horror for life.
I miss Johnny Horror.
Clap, stay healthy. Okay, so my news. First part of my news seems to be news to the world. I just want to make sure, not news to me, news to the world. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that the SAG after strike is not over. I do not like that social media and everybody's like, oh, the strike is over. No, it's not.
So to clarify, the contract has been ratified, but it still needs to be
ratified
voted
yet.
It's not ratified.
It's
ratification
like
is a
members,
different.
and I want to make
term.
sure that I am very clear about this. I am not a complete educated. This agreement is so fucking amorphous and weird, and some of the language that is used, like it has taken. I know that some friends have. It has taken so many times where people have had to read through it and read through it and read through it to try to understand it. And the reason why I say is because the reason why I say it's not over is that even the SAG after images that said, and some people are pointing. My whole point is that there is dissent happening with this agreement, and for good
Palpable
reason. It's and it is a very good reason that there is dissension with this agreement, because it is not acceptable. As a voice actor, it is not acceptable. It is not an acceptable agreement. It is not a win, and I don't care who's watching. I never say this. You know me. Come at me. I don't care. This is not an acceptable agreement because there is a lot of AI usage. There's a lot of it lacks AI protections for actors for future, and it's unacceptable. And I think the problem with it that I think, and I don't mean to be, I feel like where's my tinfoil hat, but I'm like, listen, we laugh and we joke. We watch movies like The Terminator, and I think his name's Dyson. I think the character's the scientist who developed what becomes Skynet. It's like we watch those scenes, and I even went to go back to just watch it, and I was like, you're saying the same things that he did. And we're laughing and like, oh, that can't happen. Guys, you're doing the thing. And so it's like, I think like right now there's a lot of dissension, and the strike is not over, and I don't know if it's going to be. But we can't know because it's now there. I believe it is in the voting standpoint, or the voting section, where it's going out to the membership. And so far, the people that I know, many people that I know are voting no. I know a few people that are voting yes, but the thing that I notice is those people that are voting yes also do on camera. So they're like, the voiceover part of it is not. It's AI is a very dangerous thing, and I think the thing that pisses me off about this, I'm sorry that I finally have a soapbox, and I'm just like, instead of spewing it to my wife, I'm spewing it on the platform that we have. Now is the time to fight this. Now is the time to show everyone that is involved, all the higher ups, whatever the hell, like the government. Shout out to NAVA, the National Association for Voice Actors. They are going to the Capitol building, and they are talking to Congress, and they're trying to get established protections for. It doesn't matter who you are, your voice is not protected, whether you're an actor or not. Your voice is, and I think some states do have protections of your voice being a like biometric thing, kind of like fingerprints and whatnot, where it's like you can protect it. Anyway, I think now people need to really realize like this affects everyone. This affects the health industry. This is going to have bigger ramifications. And now is the time to show. And I know that it's hitting our industry like first because it's so in the forefront. But this is just the beginning. They're going to be like, oh, it works here. We should apply it here, because what's to stop them from loading all of the medical knowledge of all mankind into this thing? We have a doctor now. A doctor that doesn't have any sort of like humanness to it. Maybe trauma, maybe, I don't know. There's just so many things that a human can have that they're like, oh, we don't want to deal with humans. Here's this. And it's like, it's going to happen. I mean, talking to friends last night, we were talking about the decline of even the amount of check stands that are run by a person in a store. It's like the self-checkout is getting bigger and bigger. And it's just like the human aspect of society. Sorry, I just went on a rant. I just feel like now we are at a time where this is not just an entertainment industry. Everyone watching, rise up. Anyway,
I mean, to that point, not to get too far into it, but pretty sure there was like a study that was revealed by someone at West Point recently, how like you can actually buy military personnel records,
Oh shit.
for like as low as like 13 cents. And it's like actual combat records, so you can see how many people like recorded kills like a certain soldier has, their injuries, their family members, their religion, their all that shit. So it's like data is the true like commodity, right? Like once someone knows, I don't need money if I know like uh you know Warren Buffett's
Yeah.
like deep dark secret. Like I have him by the balls and like I can take him down. And like that's the thing where it's like people's information is like very not secure, and like government social policy, social awareness is just not keeping up with technology in that sense.
Yeah.
And to that point of like, it's affecting our industry for sure really quickly, but like in a weird way, and I hate to make it like a harken back to a darker time, but like I remember when fucking COVID was hitting Italy, and then we were just all in bliss. We were all like, oh, it's not gonna happen here, it's not gonna happen here. And it's like, oh no, now
We
it's
had
in
our
this
live
country. Oh
show
no,
the
now it's in this.
week before.
Yeah. No, and no, at the week before, the the yacht that had it in Santa Monica was like they had it. And it was just like they're keeping them quarantined there.
Yep.
And then it was like, but crew members got to leave. Someone's got to leave that thing and someone's going to get it. So it's like one of those things where it's like before you know it, and like like again, not to harken back to a darker time, but Andrew Yang talked about that a lot. It's like you think immigrants and legals are taking your jobs, it's machines. Like machine
Yeah.
learning is just surpassing it. Like they're going to go to places where we can never go as fast, without breaks, without lunch, without sleep. And it's like, again, government, capital, corporate, whatever you want, the human factor is not keeping up with those growth changes. And so we're not offsetting the level amount of like job displacement that's going to happen. It's not saying like it can't happen, but it's saying like, what are we doing if we are
Yeah.
gonna like just be like, cool,
It's
this Walmart only
yeah.
needs one person to run it now. And it's
Yeah.
like,
It's yeah, it's what's to stop any position in any company being replaced by something that is like, what do? You run numbers? Okay, well, we can have a machine do that. Oh, what do you do here?
overnight.
Oh, okay, we can do that. We can have math loaded into this algorithm or whatever the hell, and it can also analyze the ROI of our company for the next 20 years using the last 20 years or whatever. And it's like, that'll take you a week to do where this can do it overnight in a couple of hours maybe. And it's like there's things like that where it's just like it's I hate to you I think that I am a pretty staunch optimist, and this is one of those things that I'm like it's really it's challenging me.
Well, the tough thing is it's
yeah.
like it's like feeling like, oh man, we have fusion, but the good guys didn't get it first.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, oh man, like I could only see the bad applications of it, right?
And I hate
but
seeing
anyways,
videos on I hate seeing videos on TikTok where people are excited by this and they're really like, they think it's humorous, and I'm like, you don't even realize what you're laughing at right now. You're not even realizing you're laughing at hundreds of jobs. In the aspect that you're showing right now, like the video that I saw was somebody was showing how they can use AI to replace your mouth movement and language, and it looks like you're talking in that language. And I'm like, do you know how many voice actors just lost their job? And recording engineers and video editors, just like that. Just like that, because you think it's funny. You need to prove a point. It's not, your point is proven, and I think you're an asshole. Anyway, next part of my news is exciting question mark. The Last of Us Part 2 is getting a remaster.
because it needed one.
Because it needed one, question mark. I loved The Last of Us Part 2. I don't know. I mean, what game? I mean, The Last of Us Part 1 has been remastered so many times. Skyrim's been re-released so many times. Is there a game like GTA 5? I'm like, come on. Like, what is happening? The Last of Us Part 2, it's going to have new features. Let me bring up my... I had a...
Oh, aren't they gonna have a multiplayer?
I don't know.
Like a royale?
I don't know. Let me bring up the features. I know that there will be lost levels, outfits and skins. Guitar free play mode. What is that? Is that basically like Guitar Hero? It's like a Guitar Hero Last of Us. Speed run mode. No return mode.
That probably means like a permadeath mode.
Yeah. Listen, I love, and of course it's going to be like graphics and performance enhancements, which is cool because I mean, if you think about it, games have, even since that game came out, what was that, 2018? 2018? I don't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Last of Us Part 2?
Yeah.
2020.
2020. Oh my gosh. It's even less.
Because remember, it was they pushed it and they were like, "Hey," we were all like, "Hey, it's been a shit year. How about we not have a shit game? We're okay with them delaying it."
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Blah blah 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 blah."
Yeah. It was a wonderful game. I really enjoyed it. But I mean, there probably will be a graphics. It is going to have a graphics and performance update. But I'm very interested to actually see that. The cool thing about it is that for PS4 owners, it's only a $10 upgrade for PS5 owners, which I think that is good on you. Good on you. Yes. Do that. That's a good call. And I have used my soapbox for too long. Tom, take it away.
So with the SAG strike not ending, I'm kind of trying to figure out what things I can talk about or I feel comfortable talking about.
It's technically, by all legal standards, quote, according to SAG and AFTRA,
we're not at strike anymore.
We're not at strike, so you can, I mean, every friend that I have that makes like movie review content that's a part of SAG and AFTRA they're just like pumping out videos, so it's like, have at it.
Well, I mean, you know me. I'm pretty good about being like, this is happening. Moving on. This is happening. Moving on.
Yeah.
So, Pedro Pascal, Mr. Fantastic. Moving on.
Did you guys talk about Chris Pratt as Garfield?
Yeah, which I knew. That's not news. That was announced like 2 months after he was Mario.
Oh Jesus, I didn't know that, so I was like, oh okay.
Oh cool. No, I was so like, oh my god, how many other fucking people is he gonna be? Fucking Genie, and everyone's like, at least it is better. And I was like, how about fucking anyone else? Like, it doesn't have to be the Ryan Reynolds, Chris Pratt world. Like, you know, I'm not trying to shit on the guy. Everyone's got to make money, but I'm just like, stop hiring actors because they're celebrities. Just hire like good actors who can fucking fill the roles. Anyways, but who else? What else is going on? Oh, Robert Kirkman spoils Steve Yeun as the Sentry for the MCU. Moving on. What else is going on? Fucking Caitlin Dever is going to play Abby in season 2 of The Last of Us.
Interesting.
Moving on. I was waiting for Josh's response. Moving on. The Marvels has the lowest box office drop of all the Marvel movies, 78%. Moving on. What else movie news do I want to talk about?
I actually like this.
Moving on.
There's some weeks it just feels like, oh yeah, we got a Spider-Woman
movie.
trailer. Moving on.
Madam Web.
Some weeks it just feels like there's so much news. It's like, just moving on. This happened. Moving on. We can't talk about everything. Moving on.
Yeah. What else going on? Oh, Eddie Murphy reprises his role as Axel in Beverly Hills Cop 4. Moving on.
Moving on.
Fucking what is it? I think Thanksgiving had like the top box office this last week.
I've been hearing that it's really good, and I'm like,
this is look. I'm on.
There will be no leftovers.
I studied film writing, production, and theory. I'm as pretentious as it could fucking come. I'm on Twitch as well, and I fucking got stupid hashtags and at Instagram bullshit. I'll tell you right now, seeing Addison Rae in the fucking trailer just absolutely killed it for me. I was like, I don't fucking want to watch this movie, because I don't know. I'm so over it. I'm so over the influencer fucking just beelining it into like a fucking movie. And I'm like, yeah, you want to fill seats, but it's like they have her in for like 10 seconds. Like, either you're gonna make it about her or you're not. Why fucking just like shoehorn her in there for no fucking reason to not sell shit? It's like, I don't know. I get irritated. I don't know.
There's a lot of things in the industry that just we could have a Grinds My Gears episode of Nerd On of just like true artists are being stepped aside for all this bullshit. Anyway.
It's David Chang. My opinion is fact. But something not movie related is actually something I talked about or I've gotten back into a little bit. It's some more Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. This year is the 25th anniversary of the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. This year's also, I think, or last year was the 30th anniversary for Magic. So big milestones. But something in particular in the Yu-Gi-Oh world, I just want to kind of bring up as a news piece. It's a 25th anniversary for Yu-Gi-Oh, so there's been a lot of like 25th anniversary like products. So there's a product that like I bought for a friend for his bachelor party, and it featured the first like 6 booster packs that you can get, and then like all the legendary iconic cards you can get and all that stuff. And there's all these, they have no value, they have no play game value. They might have some collector value, but they're not super expensive. But it's a good nostalgia piece, right? It's a good a beautiful way to come back to a thing in this way after this history of time. And for collectors. And then they had all these different other 25th anniversaries. So like this tin right here was kind of like, cool, these are the last 6 of the set. And they also had this rarity pack, and the rarity pack is what I really want to talk about, because it is like flooding the market with a lot of like staple meta game cards. So cards that are normally like $30-$40 a pop, and you have to get 3 to get like a full play set, so your decks would be really expensive. But this pack kind of like entered the market and like reprinted a lot of shit and a lot of different rarities, not changing the serial numbers for them, so it makes it really weird on how to value them MSRP.
Yeah.
And then like 2 weeks after the product came out, another pack came out. So it was kind of becoming like Magic in that way, where there's a lot of like wallet fatigue, where people are just like, dude, I can't afford this stuff. And like the last pack you just had was insanely good. It had anyone could spend like $100 and get every single card they ever need to make a deck, and they'll be set. And then you come up with this product that's like, here are some new cards and new mechanics, but it's like, this isn't going to catch on the meta. So it's interesting to see where Yu-Gi-Oh will be going. It's following behind Magic in that way. But yeah, that brings me out of news-ish shit. So Josh, you want to take us to the next part?
Yes, the next part of the show in which we answer questions from you, the people. And there are so many ways to submit questions. You can go to nerdon.tv/questions. It has all of the ways. But the best way, and I do think it is the best way to submit questions, is to join our Discord, nerdon.tv/Discord. There are channels within there that you can submit your questions. They are built specifically for that reason. But the absolute best way, like it is just better than any way, is to join the Nerd On Nation, powered by Patreon, nerdon.tv/Patreon. You support us in doing this. We do. I'm going to be blunt with you. We want to do this more. There's a reason we don't. Just saying. And for less than the price of a cup of coffee, you can get what we call the Nerd On Nudge, where we answer your questions first. Like, I love these questions. B-Rad. What media, news, movies, video games, any literature, TV shows, did you know in your heart was destined to fail, even though some people still had hope for it?
Wow. News, movies, video games, any literature, TV shows was destined to fail, even though some people had hope for it. Destined to fail, even though some people still had hope for it.
I feel like I have an answer. I feel like people really wanted Fallout 76 to be successful. And there was like a moment in time. There was a moment where it was good. But then it was a shit show again. And I think, it's gone. It's gone. It could have been. I mean, Fallout as a whole is a cool IP, but I think they just wanted to do too much.
I feel bad. I feel bad what I'm gonna say because it's kind of it's in recent history, and y'all know about it. Starfield.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like it was never going to be successful from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the biggest gamer in the world, but like I don't know what the fuck Platinum Games makes. Like the fact that like if you couldn't tell me what like if you said, oh, the Skyrim developers, I'm like, when was the last time you made a game that was that big? Like technology, we've talked about this ad nauseum. It's like technology moves so fast, and also Western developers don't have a good hand on open world. They just don't. Like unless you're fucking Rockstar, you can't. Like a lot of people can't crack the code on like open world games.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so recently space games, like again, not Horizon, No Man's Sky. What's that called? Fucking procedural planets. It's like, man, you are saying all the words that gives everyone the bad taste of in their mouths, and it sucks because like I know a lot of motherfuckers were into that shit. We're very excited for that shit, and like I was on super hype train for Cyberpunk, and seeing that shit crash and burn so fucking fast from fucking like CD Project Red. And I'm like, oh, I know that company. And then on Platinum's like, I don't fucking know what else they make. I have no track record of like if their shit's that good or not. And like, yes, people still like Platinum Games is the one that made fucking Skyrim, right?
Oh,
Platinum Games. Let me
I
see.
get
What
it.
the fuck?
I haven't
I
played
mean,
it
they're
enough.
Japanese. They're a Japanese company, so I'm wrong with that. But like, what are they? Bayonetta. They even make this game? What the fuck? Who the fuck made fucking Starfield? Or they were supposed to make the other game. They were this is Bethesda. Yeah, Bethesda.
Yeah.
There you go. Bethesda fucking made they made fucking Elder Scrolls and Fallout. And Platinum Games. There was another game from Xbox, and this reminded me so much of it because Platinum Games was supposed to have like that dragon game, Scalebound or something like that. And that fucking like died. And I feel again. I feel super bad talking about this game because I know so many people who are like involved in it, and I'm just like, now then it's like all the reviews are super mixed. People are just like not playing the game as intended, so like they're having like an adverse effect to the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels bad. It feels bad to see that happen, and I know a lot of people who are involved in that game. So
I get it. I started playing it, and that's it. I haven't picked it up again.
and
I
that's
think
like
I think yeah.
and that's like the thing, right? Where it's like everyone's like, oh, well, I had this, well, I had that. Then I was like, you got to have stayability now. That's the true test of time. Avatar 2, The Way of Water, can get memed to oblivion, but in 6 months, it'll make $2 billion. And I hate to say this, be this fucking guy. The Suicide Squad, everyone be like, is so fucking good. No one talks about that shit no more. I'm the only one that talks about that shit because I talk about how no one fucking talks about that shit no more. People talk about the Batman more than they talk about that movie. And, it's like, that's the thing where it's like, what are we really doing? Are we just making things to kill time, or are we actually trying to like have our place in the pantheon of things? If you want to shovelware shit to me, that's fine. I'm not talking about just Starfield. I'm talking about everything. Like, make something that's gonna fucking stand. I talk about Spider-Man 2, like Mamba said. Fucking Marvel Spider-Man 2 still has a lot of talk. People are still talking about that game. People are still doing shit with that photo mode, fucking, clips and shit like that. People are talking about, yo, is that gonna be the game of the year? Blah blah. Like, that has, I mean, like, it had already so much going for it. It had such a great presence with the first game, and then doing the Miles Morales, and now it's like, cool, now you're playing as both of those motherfuckers and Black Suit motherfucker. Oh, it was just like the hype train was insane, and you didn't hear anyone be like, this is not good. Only criticism you got was like, oh, you took away some of the stealth. But I was like that's such a small things where people are like, I don't want to travel in a game about space travel.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to sling webs in a game about slinging webs. Like, that's fucking terrible.
What was the one that you had just mentioned? It was this another space game, and I always forget it because I don't care.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. I've played it multiple times, and I don't care. Some people love the idea of just like sailing, like flying into space and going forever, and I'm like, I don't need that. Some games, in my opinion, have very slow fast travels. And I'm like, I'm using fast travel for a reason, my friend. Sometimes I will fast travel when I'm just outside my base to my base because I don't want to do the walking and trying to get into my base part.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Where it's like that's the thing. Spider-Man and Batman, like, you want to not fast travel, right? There's something in our brains where we're like, I want to do that shit. The fast travel is an option. It's always there.
Yeah,
always there if I just want to boom, boom,
city.
boom. It's enjoyable. So if they haven't cracked the code that makes space travel enjoyable for everyone, you can't rely on that as like a big factor, right? Like Red Dead Redemption, a lot of it is just being on a fucking horse and it auto goes for you. And no one has a problem with that shit. Like, everyone enjoys being on the horse and seeing the fucking world. And like, even though it's like, oh, shouldn't you want to get to the game? Like,
again.
Right? Like, so you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing where it's like, somehow you have to flip the script and make the boring parts the enjoyable parts.
Mm-hmm.
Like getting to a place. And that's like it's a big critique of mine.
In the background. Like, it's just like, this is okay. I'm okay with
this.
Yeah.
If you want to just drone out, just be like, I'm just fucking around. Like, I don't give a shit what I'm doing right now. Like, that's why people fucking love, a lot of open world games, is because they don't have to interact with the main story to enjoy it. And like, if you can't crack that code, then you're kind of lost. You might as well just make a singular game.
Yeah.
Moving on, next question.
Next question, coming in hot from Johnny Horror. And Johnny Horror, we're going to answer 2 of your questions because they're so well timed. What Nintendo production movie do you want them to make after the live action Zelda? I don't need anything. I don't want anything. It's kind of like okay, cool, that's interesting. I think Metroid, I think somebody like Boss Logic did a really cool mock-up of Metroid with Brie Larson, right?
She's been saying that she wants to play Samus Aran.
I think that would be cool. Donkey Kong might be interesting, maybe, but I don't need them. I don't want them. It's
the question asks for a want. It doesn't ask for a need.
A want. Super Smash Brothers might be a very cool, like, but don't do a Space Jam 2 where it's like, let's just use all the properties that we have. Like, it just might be fun to see.
I mean, the way that Smash Bros. Kind of like the universe happens is that like all the characters are toys.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a character called the Master Hand that makes them fight. And so like it's already there that like
it's a movie. It's a movie.
You could already do this shit where they're forced to fight. They don't even know what the fuck's going on, and then they break the rules and say, cool, we have to work together to beat the Master Hand. Yeah, I mean, Metroid, absolutely, but it's like, how do you do that game, right? Like, a lot of people think Metroid Prime as like the main game of like how to do a Samus game, but like if you start with the first like Metroid game, or Super Metroid, like it's exploration. It's Castlevania game, or Metroidvania where you had to do a lot of backtracking.
Mm-hmm.
So like, but then even like the origin story of Samus is like she's part Talon or something like that. I forget what the fuck her she's like human and half this bird alien thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that allows her to like have this adaptive genetic coding, and her suit like reflects that shit. But then like she like, and then like she has to protect her people, and then ends up joining like, I think she ends up joining the Space Pirates for like 10 seconds, and then leaves, and then becomes like a bounty hunter, and then that's why she always has beef with the Space Pirates and Ridley. So it's like, how do you jam pack that all in before you even get to a Metroid, right? And the Metroid is just a fucking little like brain parasite thing, right? So it's like, I don't know how you do that shit other than like you reintegrate all those storytelling pieces of like Samus Aran, some random person. I hope they don't give her fucking amnesia like Marvel. But then like you're ever on this alien planet where like the space pirates are trying to get this fucking thing that will change the tide of like a fucking war that's happening. And in this ancient planet, she finds the secret of like these bird people. And then like she gets attacked by one of these Metroids, and these bird people help her. And then she gets infused with their powers, and then fucking has to find these weapons, ancient weapons. One's like a rocket launcher, one turns into a ball, a slingshot, all that shit that happens in the fucking game. And then at the end, she has to fight Ridley to get control of the mother brain Metroid thing. Yeah. If I were to do a Nintendo after live action Zelda, it's not live action, it's animated. Oh wait, no, it is going to be live action Zelda. I mean, T-Dog had the right answer, live action Kirby, because how the fuck? I mean, you could watch the Kirby show and be like, all right, they did it. They kind of made it weave the story together. But part of me, Donkey Kong Country. That shit was slap hella hard. You got all the fucking dudes out there. You got some like funky jazz shit going on in between. And then like you got Booby Kong coming out. It's like it's got a lot of weirdo shit because Rare helped develop that game, and it's fun. All right, that's it.
Next question. Johnny's other question. What game do you think will be the game of the year? Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2, Zelda, Baldur's Gate 3, or Super Mario Wonderland? I think the whole world has a boner for Baldur's Gate 3. I think that it's going to be that, but it's probably me being biased because now that I look at the game list, I've only played that, and I've only heard what people think of the other ones. So I'm like, I think the amount of societal boners that I've heard for Baldur's Gate 3, there's a part of me that thinks that the hype for that was far above any of the other ones, but it's merely my opinion.
I think same, but I think because Tears of the Kingdom kind of also like dropped off. I don't know what happened with that game. Like people were fucking going crazy for Breath of the Wild. And I feel like Tears of the Kingdom literally blipped, and then it just went out of the way.
I was just noticing that myself, where I was like, I feel like it was here and then it was gone. Like
people just forgot about the game.
Yeah, it's like it didn't, like when the first one came out. I don't remember what it was called. Zelda Breath of the Wild. That one, I feel like the hype for that lasted for years. I feel like that was a hot thing for a long time, and
I think it probably won Game of the Year that year.
I believe it. But this one did not feel like it had that same hype, and I'm wondering. I haven't played it. Like I played Breath of the Wild for like a moment, and it was fun. I think I have kind of the same opinion as Corey does about it, where it's like it's fun, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. It's I think Baldur's Gate, but that's just based on kind of the hype train. Alan Wake just came out, so I'm like,
yeah, and I can't remember the last person that was like a huge Alan Wake fan. But I would say if not Baldur's Gate, then maybe Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
But that's like a kind of a long shot. Yeah, that's kind of a long shot. I think Baldur's Gate's probably the most well-rounded like runner-up for it.
There's so much to it. I mean, it's narrative, it's design, like art direction, music, multiplayer experience. I think that it's a very well-rounded game. That I think, yeah. can't.
All right.
Here we are. Here we are. Oh, other news: Super Mario RPG came out, so I'm gonna borrow my friend Tyler's Switch, and I'm going to play the remaster, and I'm very excited. Anyway,
Nice. We want to do some questions I've binned for later.
Yes, I do.
Oh, fuck me. Here's a question from Mamba. What is one thing that you saw on the internet that changed your perspective forever?
Whoa. Wow. You know, I think I've been open about this on about
Two girls, one cup.
There it is. You got it. You got it. There used to be a reaction video of my reaction, but it was deleted. I've been pretty open about not drinking alcohol and kind of the process of that. And I mean, I know that he's not everyone's favorite person, but Alec Baldwin said something in an interview about his sobriety where he was like, I just told myself after like a hangover that I just never want to feel that way again. And that just changed me. It was like it was something that I just like it applied to other things where it was like I'm feeling this thing and it's just like self-responsibility, and it was like, well, I'm a big believer in self-responsibility, and it's like you don't complain about something that you can change and that you have the power to choose something different. And that really, I wrote it on like a card and stuck it like right in front of me where I always am, and it just really, really helped me a lot.
That's awesome. I sound like a shill for this, but I never met the man. But Steve Jobs. It was one of his early interviews when he, had hair, wasn't dying.
Because that does it does exist.
That happens. He's sitting on a couch, and it's like this shitty camcorder video, and he says, when you realize that the world is this kind of wall and you can interact with it, if you push on one side, it reacts on the other side, and that most of the entire world we know around us is built by people who are no smarter than you or I, then you realize how much you can affect the world with just your contribution. And it was one of those things where it's just like, it kind of just helped me contextualize that, like, in that, like, kind of, I have a little bit of that cockiness, bombastic arrogance of like, bitch, no motherfucker smarter than me, stronger than me, more talented or willpower than I am. Like, there is nothing that stops me from being like that person, right? Like that gumption, that can-do attitude of like, these motherfuckers also like could be scared and unsure and not have any money or resources, and they fucking found a way. So how are you going to do it? Not the way they do it, but in your own way. And so, it just, gave me that kind of like outlook on life where like I don't ever need to like feel like the odds are truly stacked to where I can never do it. Like, obviously the odds are stacked against me in certain regards, but it's like, no, I need to understand and adopt this truth. And there's multiple truths in the world, but like this truth is something that's actually going to be productive for me and allow me to kind of get past emotional or psychological humps. Right. So yeah, a Steve Jobs quote video thing. And there's plenty of them too. And, they're just good to kind of like reflect upon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good question.
Good question.
Last question of the night.
Let's do it.
51 Jonathan,
51.
also known as
Johnny Horror for life.
Johnny Horror
for life. LYFE. Life. I don't know.
Before you go to battle, who do you want to be by your side? Doom Guy, Master Chief, RoboCop, or Terminator? Do 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 do.
Yeah, T-Dog Doom Guy. Dude's metal as fuck. I'm in.
Yeah, it's not gonna be RoboCop or Terminator. I'm going Master Chief. I go Master Chief. Doom Guy is probably stronger, but I'm gonna go Master Chief because I have not actually fully played a Doom game.
I haven't fully played a Halo game, so that's the reason behind my.
That's par for the course.
Yeah.
Par for the course. I mean, yeah, Doom Guy. Ever since 2016, Doom, I was like, this motherfucker run around like crazy. Like, the gameplay is meant so you don't stop moving. No. This motherfucker will not stop moving. Mamba, the correct answer is Spider-Man 2. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2 is who I have next to me by my side. I think Spider-Man could beat all of them up, right?
I mean, if we're talking about, Spider-Man, like, not holding back.
Yeah, easy. But for this question, Master Chief. Master Chief, I'd take him in Halo 3 level, Master Chief. Infinite, he's got a grapple hook.
You know what plot I haven't been able to stop thinking about, like potential plot that I haven't been able to stop thinking about, is Andrew Garfield as Amazing Spider-Man 3 and
Tom Hardy.
He is like, we get to see that dark Spider-Man, like where he kills somebody because he's so fucking strong and he doesn't hold back. Like, I just keep thinking, man, I want that, and I keep thinking about it. It's never gonna happen.
It'd be kind of cool if they did that for the Venom 3 movie, where Eddie Brock loses the symbiote to Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker, and Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock is the hero who has to then just take it back from him
somehow. Like,
it's a cool reversal where, like, now Spider-Man's
they're both kind of like
the
hey man. they're both like the same kind of like. Anyway,
squirrely.
Yeah, a little squirrely. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway.
All right. Should I find someone to raid?
Yeah, let's find somebody to raid.
Bad Reprints streaming some Power Wash Simulator.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Oh, you like that, 51 Jonathan? Tell Hollywood. Tell them to send the check. I'm right here. I'm right fucking here. Josh could be fucking Mr. Exposition Doctor.
Yeah.
We're seeing that the symbiote is expressing higher levels of aggression. Do.
He's got it. Run the Marvel
Sony
credits.
universe.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
What's her name? Amy Pascal. I'm coming for you, baby.
Coming for you. Okay. Everybody at home, thank you so much for hanging out with us, for watching the show. It is the holidays. It's starting to get into the holidays, so streaming schedule might be spotty a couple of weeks, but probably not as much.
No stream for Christmas or New Year's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're new to us, check out our website, nerdon.tv. We're always here, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Twitch. We post to YouTube. But that's enough. That's enough business. Take care of yourselves. Drink water. Stay warm if it's cold. Stay cold if it's hot. You know the drill. As always, nerd on.
Nerd on.